If you need help creating your own website, Good Insight has you covered. Go to them for all your website creation needs and they'll be able to hook you up with their easy-to-use interface, supportive staff, and while you're at it, get a 30-day free trial with this promo code. Enter it in when you're registering and you'll be able to get 30 days free. The FlexShot is a stand that can be used with basically any device, a GoPro, an iPhone, an iPad, tablets, cameras, basically any device that you can use either an adapter or already has a built-in quarter 20 thread. So basically, if you have a quarter 20 screw, you can put that into a camera. Now, if you have an iPhone, you can't really mount that. So what you're going to need is an adapter. Once you get the adapter, you can mount your phone or any device that you got the adapter for to the FlexShot. Then, after you do that, you can get the shifting center of gravity technology within the FlexShot to give you basically any shot you desire. You can get this to be completely horizontal, you can get it to be vertical, you can get it diagonal, you can get basically any degree you want. You can achieve that because the FlexShot has this technology within it that allows you to mold it, shape it, bend it, twist it, tweak it, whatever you want to do, you can achieve it. You can have this thing hanging over a ledge with a camera and it will keep the camera steady, get you the perfect shot, and this is much easier than using your average tripod because your average tripod takes basically an hour to set up if you want to get the exact same shot you're going to get with the FlexShot. You have to be so careful with tripods because they have 3 legs, they're so bulky, and they just take forever to set up compared to a FlexShot. This thing requires no setup whatsoever. You just put it down, screw the thing on, you're done. You just angle it however you want. Tripod, you got to take the whole thing apart, you got to do everything else like that. You got to mount the product on like your camera or whatever it is. You got to make sure that the safety plate and everything else is attached properly. Then you have to make sure the legs are not going to collapse. You have to extend them all to the perfect height. Then you have to get each individual one and level it properly. With this, you don't need to do any of that. You hang it over a ledge, you do whatever you want with it, and it works. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by that later in the video with some cool clips I got going. So the price of this is speculated to be about $37. However, the price is still yet to be determined, and they are pretty set on creating different FlexShots. Currently, they only have one model, but they want to create other models as well. So Wild Iron, the company that makes it, once again, is going to just determine that later in the future. However, it's going to be around $30 to $40 right now for this model. This model is 4 inches tall, 4 inches wide, and 3 pounds heavy. So that's the model. This is not meant to hold super heavy stuff. It can hold some pretty heavy stuff. However, it's not super heavy duty. They're thinking about creating lighter versions or heavy duty versions and then an in-between version like the one you see right here. So they're thinking about making all kinds of versions like that depending on whether or not or how successful the Kickstarter campaign is. I'll have a link for the Kickstarter campaign in the description of this video down below. So thank you so much to Wild Iron for sending this out to me, and without further ado, let's get into this review. So right here, I'll show you exactly how this quarter 20 screw works. So I have an adapter on my GoPro, and I'm just going to put that on and screw it in. It's very simple, and it literally takes like 6 screws, I think. 6 times you spin it around, you can just lift up the FlexShot, spin it around, and then it gets tight, and then you're done. So you just mount it like that. Your GoPro is secure. It is not going to go anywhere, and now you can mount this on basically any angle, and it's going to be really cool. I'm going to show you some 6 shots right now. The different angles you can get with this FlexShot are basically endless. You can get angles that just face up, get something in the sky, you can have something over a ledge, have the entire FlexShot itself over the ledge, have the entire GoPro just hanging out in the air, and it's still going to be stabilized just so you can get insane shots, aerial shots, downward shots, upward shots, left, right, forward, backward. It doesn't matter what you want. You can achieve it with the FlexShot. So Wild Iron sent me an adapter for the iPhone 5 and basically other mobile phones. Now, in the future, they're going to have a shop on their website where you can buy GoPro and phone accessories, but basically, that's how it works. I don't really know the price of this right now. The main point of it is that it's just an adapter. In the end of the story, it's just an adapter. You can pick these up really anywhere. You get them on Amazon. The whole point of this is just to show you guys that this does work with the FlexShot. It is working well. Basically, the same angles that I got with the GoPro will be achievable with this. This is actually even lighter than the entire GoPro configuration I had over there. With that GoPro configuration, I got as many different parts as I could and put them onto the GoPro so they would be as heavy as possible. Still held it up fine. This isn't even as heavy on that GoPro, so you're going to be able to achieve much more complex angles than the GoPro. So that's really cool, and I think this is definitely going to help in the future for people that want to just achieve really nice shots on their phone. You don't need to buy something super expensive like a standalone camera. You can just get your phone and do something like that. Phones now have such amazing cameras built into them that you can just use them for cinematography, and this FlexShot, $37, is going to help you a lot get those really nice shots just with your phone, and I think that's really what's going to take cinematography with phones to the next level. One of the unfortunate things about the current FlexShot that I'm using is that it doesn't really support super heavy DSLRs. Now, I put a telephoto lens on this thing, and it just would not hold the weight. This is basically one of the few positions it would hold it up in. If I tilt the lens slightly down or try to get an angle that's slightly lower than this, the entire thing would just fall over, and that does not end well. So if you're going to be using the standard FlexShot, make sure you're using a macro lens or something much smaller than what I'm using, because otherwise it won't work. So after you're done using your FlexShot and you're already just molded it up already and you just want to put it in your bag, but you wanted to get it into its nice original round state, what you're going to do is you're just going to take it in your hands and kind of throw it around gently, so you're going to get it back to its original state. That center of gravity will get back to its original place and it's going to look fine. Cleaning this guy up is also very simple. However, the version they sent me is going to be a prototype version, so that version has an outside coating that attracts a lot of dirt and dust, and that's why you have to clean it off a lot with a lot of water. However, the version they're going to send you is going to be a finished product. It's not going to get dirty a lot, it's not going to get dusty a lot, and it's just going to repel dust and dirt a lot easier. You're not going to have to clean it as much, but if you do want to clean it, same process as what I used here. Just sprinkle it with a little bit of water, wipe it down, you're good to go. Just make sure you don't get a little bit too much water on that screw right there, because you don't want it to rust over. Just make sure you're careful with that. So in this scene, I decided as part of one of my workouts to push my trainer's car. So I put the FlexShot with the GoPro on the back of the car and had the GoPro and the FlexShot kind of lean over the edge of the back of the car, and it worked out pretty well. And this is a good example of how you don't have to use one of those sticky mounts for the GoPro. You can just use the FlexShot instead of having to stick down an entire sticker for 24 hours and having to wait for it to be fully applied and having to just go through that whole ordeal. You just put this down, and when you're done with the shot, just pick it up from the car. And this is also it's not shaky because the FlexShot is not stable. It's shaky because the road itself is kind of just all messed up and kind of cracked and just really bumpy. But anyway, so that's basically how this worked. I'd say it worked out pretty well. This is a fairly good representation of what you could do if you had a GoPro. You didn't want to use a sticky mount, and you had a FlexShot. You could put it on a car, do something like that. Maybe put this on a ski. I'm not sure what you could do, but the possibilities are endless. So for this shot, I wanted to create a really nice landscape overall view of everything going on, and I put the FlexShot on the side of a curb, and I didn't even put it on this grassy part. I just put it on this 2-inch wide little slab of stone. As you can see, all the ones in front of this grate right here. So as you can see, they're very thin, and I put the entire FlexShot on that. 4 inches wide. These things are like 2 inches wide, and it balanced itself perfectly with the entire GoPro. I leaned the GoPro slightly forward, angled it a little over the curb, and it looked really nice. I gotta admit, this shot turned out pretty well, and this is much better than using a tripod, because first of all, a tripod could not get a shot this low, and you don't want to put your camera right on the curb, because that's just a really bad idea, because it might fall. And so this just works much better. I left it alone, didn't have to worry about anything. I just left, pushed the car, and it's all good. So really, this is one of those hands-free things. Once you set it down, you finish the shot, you're done. You don't need to do anything while it's actually taking the shot. You don't need to keep monitoring it, because it's going to be fine. And that's one of the great things about this. Less worry. It's just so much easier to use than your average tripod or any other stabilization thing out there. So I think this is really the perfect solution for anybody trying to create awesome shots that are just really creative. So if by now you don't know my opinion as to whether or not you should buy this, then here it is. If you have 30 to 40 bucks to spend on a stabilization rig for your camera slash stand, definitely get this, because it's way cooler than a tripod. I mean, look at this thing. It's so small, it does so much more. I mean, my tripod right here, it's $90. It makes me want to throw this thing out in shame, because that's how little it does compared to this. It can't get a quarter of the angles this thing can achieve, and it's a lot more expensive. It's maybe like 3 times the price, and that's a lot more money for a lot less functionality. So this idea is, first of all, ingenious. Second of all, it's really good. And third of all, did I say ingenious? Yeah, probably. Anyways, so I think if you have the money, if you need something that works, this is definitely the product for you. Thank you so much for watching the review. Thank you so much to Wild Iron for sending this out to me. It's a great product. I'll have the Kickstarter campaign link in the description down below. This thing is freaking awesome. If you have the money, go get it, because it's that cool. Anyways, guys, rate, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much to Nate. You're awesome. Peace.